All right, let's have some fun today. We're going to talk about 3 very unique exchange-traded funds that I'll bet you've never heard of before. Okay, so if you don't know what an exchange-traded fund is, then go check out some of our other videos on our YouTube channel or our website where we talk specifically about the basics of exchange-traded funds. Now, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you probably have some ETFs in your portfolio. If you're at Betterment, Wealthfront, Raymond James, Schwab, Fidelity, any of these places, then you probably have some kind of exchange-traded fund or you've invested in them in the past. Now, historically, exchange-traded funds were meant for people to be able to have an alternative to mutual funds and be able to invest in indices like the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, things like that. Now, what happened is over the years, they got creative and they said, well, look, we're making all kinds of money on these ETFs for the S&P and for the NASDAQ. So let's take it a step further and let's invest in gold, oil. Let's get down to the sectors, the tech sectors, the retail sectors, and offer products in that space as well. So they got creative, right? You can actually even invest in volatility. If you think the markets are going to get a little wild and kind of oscillate back and forth, then you can invest in volatility. That's an ETF as well. Not sure it's the best choice for you. You definitely want to do your research, but these are choices, right? So today I want to talk about 3 unique ones that caught my attention recently. The first one in particular is called Spirited Funds. The symbol is WSKY. Now, based on what I've just said, can you guess what they invest in, right? They invest in the hard alcohols, the people that make and sell the alcohols that you probably heard of before. In fact, their top holding in WSKY is a company called Diageo. Now, you maybe never heard of Diageo, but the companies that they own, and there's a ton of them, you've certainly heard of them or maybe bought their drinks in the past. So I got a little list, maybe Tanqueray, Captain Morgan, Don Julio, Smirnoff, Kettle One, Ciroc, Johnny Walker, Crown Royal, Seagram's, George Dickel, Bailey's, Guinness. You've heard of one of those, right? So this company, Diageo, owns all these brands, but you didn't know that, huh? Anyways, the ETF actually invests in these types of companies. So if you're bullish on people drinking, right, you think that this market's doing well and everybody's out there having some sort of shot of some kind, then maybe this ETF is for you. Now, before you do anything, you certainly want to talk to a professional, get some help. Don't just dive into these because these are brand new ETFs. In fact, this one I think just came out in July, late July. So they're just getting started. It means that not a lot of people know about them yet. So when you go and you look at the prices of this ETF, you're going to see it doesn't move a lot. And that's just because there's not a lot of people that know about it. Now, I don't get paid to suggest these to you. I just thought they were unique. But definitely, please do your homework before you put any money into anything that I ever suggest. Okay, the second one is we're going to take a different type of spirit, right? We're going to move on from the spirits you drink to the spirits that you may believe in. So this ETF is called the Global Hope ETF. The symbol's BLESS, right? B-L-E-S. And basically, this is a biblical related ETF. Now, there's no biblical company or they don't sell products or anything. What they do is they went through all the public companies and they identified 293 public companies that they believe are operating with biblical values. So the companies that they invest in are names like Michael Kors. Have you heard of Michael Kors, right? Ask your wife. So that's one of them that they think operates with biblical values. Another one that you maybe heard of is E-Trade, right? The online stock investing platform and a brokerage firm that's you see all the commercials for and everything. They believe that they operate with biblical values as well. And maybe BHP Billiton, it's an oil service company. I don't know, maybe you've heard of that or not. If you're in the markets, you probably heard of it. They're an oil service company, and that's another one. So kind of cool, right? That's something different if you want to invest in companies, but you have that strong mindset of, hey, I want to work with companies that at least someone thinks is doing the right thing or treats their people well or isn't out there like doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Kind of fits your values, then that's an ETF as well. Again, it's brand new, right? So give it time. This doesn't mean that it's a good investment for you. It's just, hey, it's unique, right? Something you never heard of. The last one, and I'm going to go slow with this one. This is probably the coolest idea, right? This shows you how smart people are. There are more ETFs than there are stocks at the moment, okay? Every one of these ETFs charges something, a fraction of a percent, a fraction of a percent, right? The fees are really, really small. But nonetheless, they're making money by offering an ETF. So what these guys did here is they said, hey, let's make an ETF that invests in ETF companies. When they make some money, then we should make some money. So essentially, it's an ETF to invest in companies that offer ETFs, right? That's pretty clever. I thought that was pretty clever. The name of it is the ETF Industry Exposure and Financial Services ETF. The symbol is TETF, right? So think of the companies that offer ETFs. Schwab is one of them. They have a lot of them, actually. And that's a company that this ETF invests in. Some that you may not have heard of, State Street Corporation, very popular. They have some very, very large and quite popular exchange-traded funds. And so this ETF invests in that company, which offers ETFs. All right, enough of that. So there's 3 ETFs you never heard of, probably. There's a ton of them. There's actually an ETF that invests in companies that sponsor pro sports teams or pro sports associations. I don't know if it's any good or not, but that's an ETF, right? Just shows you that they're getting creative. The number of offerings and the types of offerings certainly starting to stretch out, giving you more choices. Now, one negative thing here, one negative thing I got to point out, you can't rent out any of these. Right? So if you've been following me, you know that I like to talk about renting your IRA or renting the positions inside of your retirement accounts. These don't qualify. Not one of these qualify. They're too new. They're a little too risky for people that are investing for retirement. So if you want to know more about what I mean when I say rent your IRA, go to our website. Check it out. We've got a video on there. Use a real simple analogy to explain what's kind of a complicated strategy. If you like this video, share it with somebody. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, or hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, hit that big wow face if you would. I like that face the most. And share the information with somebody, or just let us know what you like and what you don't like. If you'd like to invest with Jazz Wealth or like to know more about us, just go to jazzwealth.com. Hope to talk to you soon.